Roch Parisien for MyMusic.com, and we're with the Sheepdogs at Ottawa Blues Fest, who are taking on a summer full of festival concerts. Kind of warm-up, guys, almost for the this album launch in September and the major tour that happens then.
We like to think that we never get cold because we don't stop, so we're always warm.
So the summer, tell us about the summer and all the festivals you're doing.
Summer is festival time, so everything from playing on the island, in Vancouver Island, and interior BC, Calgary Stampede, Ottawa Blues Fest, obviously, Edge Fest, Coachella, Sasquatch, Osheaga in Montreal, Lollapalooza, all the festivals that we're trying to get to. So it's, that's what summer's all about.
Cool. Would it be fair to say, could I lay down a large wad of money betting that in the last year you have not done an interview where the words Rolling Stone magazine were not part of the interview?
Yeah, that'd be a safe bet, I would think. Yeah, that's a safe bet. Yeah.
Is that getting old, or are you still cool with that? Or?
Well, I mean, you get asked anything repeatedly, it will get old, but, you have to acknowledge that that's a huge part of our story and that it was a huge help to us. So, it's just, just got to accept that people want to know about it, and that's how it goes.
All right.
Yeah.
So just give us a bit of a snapshot on what it meant for the band, either musically or professionally, like Sheepdogs pre-Rolling Stone, Sheepdogs after Rolling Stone.
Well, I think, the big thing is that we don't have to work our day jobs anymore. We travel nonstop. We're in demand. People know who we are. They want to see us play. Before we were sort of like all piling in our crappy van and sort of praying for people to come see us play, and it was very sort of questionable whether they would come see us, and just your typical struggling Canadian rock band. Anything to add, Ryan?
You pretty well covered it.
Mr. Hansen?
You got it. All that. Oh, it's fair.
Sam?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the new album in a minute. I've listened to the new single today for the first time. I was pretty excited.
Cool.
You guys must be too, to have that out there and stuff. But you guys have a reputation, up to now at least, for being fairly, I guess a word might be traditional, or traditionalists when it comes to rock and roll. It's almost as if you pilfered your parents' record collection from the 70s and skipped a couple of generations of music that your peers might have been listening to at the time. How did that sort of happen for you guys?
I think it's as simple as just, we always say we play the music that we like, and I think any band should do that. They should just, you get into music because you hear something that you really like and you try to emulate it, and that's what we did. So for us, we liked guitar riffs and melodies and harmonies, and it just so happens that those elements are more prevalent in sort of like the music from, 65 to 73 type of thing. It's just not, modern music is a little more about like, dance beats and I don't know, whatever the heck.
The 80s.
The 80s. Yeah.
80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we get sort of tagged with that label, sort of associating us with an era, but it's just, that's the music we like, so that's what we try and do.
When you get pigeonholed with that, there's a risk of people thinking that that your music is very derivative of that era. Is that something that you worry about, that you're conscious about, that you really make an effort to try to take those influences but do something different with them?
No, I'm not worried about it at all. It is derivative. Rock and roll, by nature, is derivative. I mean, that's what it is. The Beatles started out trying to be, Little Richard and the Everly Brothers and whoever else. It's just, you emulate who you like, but you try to put your own spin on it. And we basically play basic sort of blues rock music, but we just try to color it with our own sound and our own vocal stylings, and hopefully it just comes out sounding like the Sheepdogs. And yeah, it is derivative of other music, but I don't care. That's the kind of music I like.
So since the Rolling Stone thing, you were signed to Warner Music Canada, and you've been in the studio for a new album. How did the Black Keys become involved in working with you guys on this record?
We met Pat in New York City.
Yeah, we met Pat in New York City at a Tom Petty tribute that we played at, and kind of over the course of a couple months, he agreed to produce our album. So after we finished touring kind of nonstop last year, we went to Nashville and made an album in 2.5 weeks with him in January, which is going to come out now in September.
When we met him, he was very like interested in how we were going to make our next album, and you know, he had all these ideas, and so we were kind of like, "Well, do you want to produce it?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't have time," and then to his credit, he made time because he really wanted to do it.
I'd read that he was actually really passionate about what you guys were going to do next. What was it that sort of hooked him to what you were doing?
You know, I don't really know. I just, you know, I think that we both come from similar backgrounds. You know, rock and roll fans. You know, maybe it's part of the being from a smaller center. You know, like they're from Akron, we're from Saskatoon. It's not, you know, big cities, Toronto or New York or anything like that. It's, yeah, I don't know. He seemed to dig it, and we got along with him well, and you know, we're grateful that he did, because those dudes are making great rock and roll.
Yeah. Now, as I mentioned, I've listened to the new single. It's out, I guess, imminently as an advanced single.
I think tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow it's coming. It's going to be on the radio.
Right. Now, to me, I mean, it was imminently Sheepdogs, but there's just sort of a bit more of a modern edge to it. I think it goes back to what I was asking before about traditionalists and being careful not to fall into kind of a rut of stuff that's been down before. This really sounds to me like a combination of you know, your traditional sound, but with just something a bit more contemporary than what you've done before. Would that be fair?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, that song in particular, it's you know, we sort of strived to make something that was really like streamlined and simple and just really like gripping. I mean, it's like a 2-note riff, and it's really sort of caveman-esque, but you know, simplicity is good, and it's just got a nice hard edge, and it's got a nice strut to it, and then, you know, when you listen to the album, I think once people get to hear the whole thing, they'll see that there's a whole range of colors and the spectrum of sounds throughout the album, and so it's not all just lean and mean rock songs, but the single certainly is. Yeah.
Right. So are the Sheepdogs more comfortable in the studio or live on stage?
You know, I think our whole thing is that we want to be comfortable in either. Like, we always have felt like a band is composed of those two elements equally. Got to put on a good live show, got to make a good record, because we like going to shows and we like listening to records equally. So that's, you know.
I guess the way our lives are, we spend a lot more time on the road and a lot less time in the studio. But I think part of being comfortable in the live setting allows you to be more successful in the studio, because, you know, as you become more of a unit and, you know, come used to playing with each other, sometimes ideas and things in the studio come easier if you're more comfortable playing as a live band as well. And I think last year, having toured like 11 months of the year and then basically going straight into the studio gave us a lot more, you know, I guess, chemistry to kind of just come up with stuff there as well.
So what was this experience in the studio, what has that brought to your live show? People that come out and see you tonight at Blues Fest, what are they going to get from your live show that they might not have in the past before this album was recorded?
Well, I mean, the obvious answer is they're going to hear a few new tunes. They're going to hear some of our new sounds. Another big thing is that we got a new additional member, my brother Seamus.
Over here. No, I'm sad. Oh, okay.
Good. People are going to love that joke, not understanding what you're referring to. My brother Seamus is playing keyboards with us, so, you know, we always had keyboard sounds on our album, and in particular this new one does. So now we have that live, and it's awesome having an extra sound there. He lends an extra vocal, he plays some percussion as well, and it just kind of adds a whole nother color and texture to our band, and it just makes us a little more impressive, I think, live. Okay, well, we're looking forward to seeing you tonight on stage at Blues Fest. And September, release of the self-titled major label debut, The Sheepdogs. And total world domination after that. Oh, that's the plan. Here we come. Yeah.